This is channel Xianxia Audio. Please support me a subscription. This is the series I'm Not a Theater God. Chapter 131. Orders from Aurora City. Xianxia swiftly moved through the Enforcer headquarters lobby and entered the telegraph room. Inside the telegraph room, 2 enforcement officers were on duty. Upon seeing Xianxia, they immediately stood up from their seats. Chief Xi. Has a message arrived from Aurora City? Yes. Has anyone else seen it? No, we informed you immediately, and the content of this message requires your identification code to receive. Xianxia frowned slightly. He waved his hand, signaling everyone in the telegraph room to leave, then locked the door and walked towards the special telegraph machine in the center of the room. Han Meng hadn't returned, and Aurora City hadn't sent reinforcements. Yet, at this critical juncture, Aurora City suddenly sent a message to the 3rd District, and it was an encrypted message specifically for him. This indicated that the thick fog hadn't hindered message transmission, and Aurora City knew that he was the acting director of the 3rd District. With a bit of thought, one could sense something was amiss. Xianxia sat down in front of the telegraph machine and typed in his code. After a brief pause, a message was automatically printed out. Click-clack, click-clack-clack. The white paper slowly rose from the top of the machine, and lines of characters appeared before Xianxia's eyes. Open black lens bracket tail severing plan close black lens bracket. Upon seeing the 4 large characters at the beginning, Xianxia's heart jolted. He stared intently at the characters gradually appearing, his eyes revealing unconcealed shock. This message stated that Aurora City was about to abandon the 7 districts. But it didn't explain why. Instead, it directly ordered Xianxia to lead the enforcement officers on the list and quickly travel to Aurora City by train. Chen Ling's guess was correct. Aurora City was really going to abandon the 7 districts? Xianxia's mind instantly went blank. He looked at the names being printed, unable to recover for a long time. The annihilation of the 3rd district was now inevitable, at most a matter of time. Aurora City providing this list was likely to select some people from the 7 districts to fill vacancies within the city. But what puzzled Xianxia was, Chen Ling was not on this list. Chen Ling was an enforcement officer of the open black lens bracket Asura close black lens bracket path. Although he was only a 1st rank, his potential wouldn't be bad. Even those few enforcement officers who were lazy and gluttonous all day were on the list. So why wasn't Chen Ling? As if to answer the doubts in Xianxia's mind, after the last name on the list appeared, another solitary line of characters popped out with a click. Open black lens bracket order 2, before the full evacuation. Eliminate the heretic Chen Ling, by any means necessary, close black lens bracket. The moment he saw this line of text, Xianxia's pupils suddenly constricted. There was no reason, no explanation. This line of command was the final text in the encrypted message. Like an unquestionable order from Aurora City. Heretic, Chen Ling? Xianxia's face was filled with confusion. He didn't understand why Chen Ling would be a heretic, or why he would be hunted by Aurora City. Xianxia immediately used the telegraph machine to send another message to Aurora City, inquiring about the reason for killing Chen Ling. But he waited in the room for nearly half an hour, and there was no response. As if contact had been lost again. The clamor and commotion outside the window grew louder and louder. Xianxia couldn't sit still. He took one last look at the telegraph machine, got up, and pushed the door open. Chief Xi, why were you in there for so long? The enforcement officer who had been guarding the door asked. What did Aurora City say? Are reinforcements coming? This enforcement officer was Xianxia's confidant and a decent person. But at this moment, under his anxious, continuous questioning, Xianxia could only fall silent. Chief Xi, the situation outside is not good. Many residents have surrounded the Enforcer headquarters entrance. Several more enforcement officers rushed over. They want to know what happened in the 2nd District and 4th District, and if the 3rd District will be in danger. They all seem terrified. Chief Xi, some residents from the south said that strange cries seem to be continuously approaching from the 4th District. Could it be the calamity that massacred the 4th District coming over? Chief, what should we do next? More and more enforcement officers gathered around Xianxia. Their faces pale, although they had been enforcement officers for many years. This was the first time they had encountered such a situation. Like the people outside, they were all somewhat panicked. Outside the Enforcer headquarters gate, The clamor and knocking were incessant, inside the gate. The faces of numerous enforcement officers were anxious and fearful in the flickering light of the kerosene lamps. Shi Renji's gaze swept over these enforcement officers, his hand clutching the list unconsciously tightening. Tan Ming, come with me. He struggled for a long time in his heart before speaking hoarsely. Then he pushed through the crowd and walked directly towards the back door of the enforcer headquarters. The enforcement officer named Tan Ming was stunned and immediately followed. The two figures thus opened the narrow back door in the night and disappeared into the thick fog, leaving the other enforcement officers standing in place. Their eyes filled with bewilderment. Ellipsis. Brother Jia, what happened? Tan Ming was an enforcement officer who had followed Shi Renji for many years. He was a good person and considered his confidant, and his name was on this transfer list. Shi Renji silently walked along the dim street, passing through narrow alleys. Through the gaps between the alleys, he could see that the enforcer headquarters gate was indeed surrounded by a crowd. They didn't stop, silently walking further away. Aurora City is going to abandon the 7 districts, Shi Renji said hoarsely. What? Tan Ming's eyes widened. Shi Renji directly handed him the message. Tan Ming read it carefully, and his face showed deep shock. Then, what about these people? There are 40,000 people alive in the 3rd district right now. Tan Ming couldn't help but retort. If we leave, are we just going to abandon them to their fate? Shi Renji's steps faltered. He looked at the many streets that were gradually lighting up, his eyes filled with guilt and struggle. I don't know, Meng Jie told us to protect the 3rd district before he left. But we can't possibly defend it. If we stay, we'll only die with them. Then what's this list about? Most of the people on it are those parasites who freeload and act recklessly. The truly capable enforcement officers aren't on it at all. What is Aurora City thinking? Tan Ming said indignantly. Are they really going to take these parasites and leave our brothers here to die? I don't know. I really don't know. Shi Renji clutched his hair with both hands, his eyes bloodshot, as reason and emotion fiercely battled in his mind. Chapter 132, A New Performance. He had followed Han Meng for so long that the sense of responsibility of an enforcement officer was already etched into his heart. He knew that if Han Meng were here, he would never choose to flee. But, even if he stayed, he couldn't do anything, and that was Aurora City. He desperately wanted to enter Aurora City. It was a lifelong dream he had yearned for. Now, a path into Aurora City lay before him. How could he refuse? How could he possibly refuse? But if he truly escaped into Aurora City, how would he face Han Meng? Brother Jia? Tan Ming saw Shi Renji's struggle and hesitated for a long time before speaking. Brother Jia, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Protecting the public is an enforcement officer's duty. Yes, but so is obeying orders. Whatever choice you make, I will follow you. Upon hearing these words, Shi Renji fell silent. He stood in the dim, thick fog, his black trench coat seemingly merging with his shadow. Save me. In the dead silence, an extremely faint voice came from the side. Shi Renji snapped back to reality and turned his head towards the direction of the voice. He immediately stepped forward, walking towards that dim area, with Tan Ming following closely behind. The sound came from an open space. As he got closer, Shi Renji realized that this was precisely where the clinic had discarded people during the day. Hundreds of abandoned critically ill patients were laid out here, silently awaiting death. Among these critically ill patients, some were carried back by their families on the spot. The rest were either solitary individuals or had their entire families wiped out, with no one to claim them. Several hours later, most of the severely injured here had silently died, but a few still had faint breaths. They were desperately calling out, either from intense pain or despair, their weak voices as tiny as mosquitoes. Shi Renji found the person who was speaking and quickly walked to him. It was a figure covered in blood, with bite marks all over his body. His eyeballs shattered, leaving only blood and crystal in his dark eye sockets. His whole body was twisted on the ground, and probably not many bones were intact. At first glance, he was indistinguishable from a corpse. How are you? Tan Ming asked, unable to bear the sight. Save, save. As if hearing someone respond, the corpse-like figure moved his fingers and legs, and a longing for life appeared on his blood-stained face. Tan Ming was about to help him up when a hand grabbed his shoulder. He turned his head and saw Shi Renji looking at the man with complex eyes. Shaking his head. You shouldn't have responded to him. Why? He's about to die. No one can save him. Responding to him will only make him die with hope. That will only be more painful. Tan Ming was stunned. Then what should I do? Shi Renji did not answer. A hint of determination appeared in his bloodshot eyes. He walked to the man, slowly pulled out his gun, and aimed it at his forehead. Save! Save me! Please, save! The eyeless figure was still pleading bitterly, his whole body seemingly experiencing a final burst of energy, trying to sit up from the ground. Just then, his forehead touched Shi Renji's gun barrel, and he suddenly froze. Thank you. Shi Renji's voice was calmer than ever. I know what to do now. Bang! A gunshot suddenly rang out. As the figure fell to the ground with a thud, Shi Renji slowly stood up. He held the smoking gun barrel, walking through this hell of despair abandoned by the world. Bang bang bang. Consecutive gunshots rang out. The black trench coat pulled the trigger in front of one person after another who still had a trace of life. Like the Grim Reaper's scythe harvesting desperate souls. At the moment of death, their faces seemed to show no pain, but rather a hint of relief. With each severely injured person he killed, a greater determination appeared in Shi Renji's eyes. He was like a cleaner, removing all this rotten flesh abandoned by humanity. When the entire magazine was emptied, the open space fell into dead silence again. By now, besides him and Tan Ming, there was no other living person here. Brother Jia, Tan Ming spoke with a complex expression. Incompetent kindness is a heart-piercing poison for those on the verge of despair. Shi Renji slowly turned his head, his gaze seemingly piercing through the thick fog, seeing the massive city standing in the center of Aurora. Perhaps, Aurora City is right. Then you mean, go gather the enforcers on the list and have them wait for me at the train station. Okay, Tan Ming took a deep breath and nodded heavily. Then, as if remembering something, he asked, what about Chen Ling? Shi Renji fell silent again. After an unknown amount of time, he gently closed his eyes. Have him come see me. ... In his dream, Chen Ling slowly opened his eyes. He didn't know when, but he had once again arrived on that twisted path leading to the sky, at the end of which was an unreachable star in the heavens. His home. Here again. Chen Ling looked down and saw that he was already standing on the second step of this path. Although it was only one step higher than before, he had risen a significant distance from the dark abyss. If one observed carefully, they would notice that the distance between the star and himself seemed to have shortened. Next, it's the third step. Chen Ling looked ahead. A tall step was several meters away. This step, both in height and distance, was much larger than the second step. According to what Han Meng had said before, it generally takes 1 to 2 years for an ordinary person to go from the first to the second stage, and even longer from the second to the third stage. Starting at 3 years, some who lack talent might even get stuck at the second stage indefinitely. This was enough to prove that the difficulty of going from the second to the third stage was much greater than from the first to the second. Chen Ling tried to step forward, but his body felt as heavy as if filled with lead. No matter how hard he tried, he could only move less than half a centimeter. His mental strength was still too weak. At the same time, Chen Ling's gaze fell on the path between the second and third steps. He could see blurred small characters displayed in the area closest to him. And further away, there seemed to be another line. Does promoting from the second to the third stage require more than one performance? Chen Ling felt a little surprised. The line in the distance was impossible for Chen Ling to see clearly from his current position. So he could only squint his eyes, trying his best to discern the line of small characters closest to him. After a long while, he muttered to himself, somewhat uncertainly, open black lens bracket, complete a soul-stirring exit witnessed by at least 100 people, close black lens bracket. Chapter 133 Everyone will die. A breathtaking exit? Chen Ling's eyes were filled with confusion as he looked at these words. The first half of the sentence was clear, but the latter half was a bit subtle. What kind of performance is called breathtaking? What counts as an exit? Just as Chen Ling was pondering, a commotion reached his ears, and the next moment, the scene around him rapidly shattered. Open black lens bracket, audience expectation +10, close black lens bracket. Chen Ling suddenly awoke from his sleep. He sat up from the bed and saw figures carrying kerosene lamps flickering through the thick fog outside the window. Continuous shouts echoed in the distance, as if something had happened. Chen Ling checked the time, 3:40 a.m. He got out of bed without hesitation, put on his trench coat, and pushed the door open. What happened? As soon as Chen Ling stepped out, he saw the Zhao family father and son rushing out of their house. Their expressions flustered. "Oh, Ling, I was just about to knock on your door to call you." Uncle Zhao quickly said, "Everyone in 2nd District and 4th District is dead. Do you know about this?" Chen Ling frowned slightly. "I don't know. Everyone in 2nd District has been piled into a mountain of corpses. I heard it's over 100 meters tall, and near our border with 4th District. Some people heard strange cries approaching. Ling, tell me the truth, is our 3rd District in danger this time?" Chen Ling did not answer. After hearing about 2nd District and 4th District, his previous speculation immediately resurfaced in his mind. Now that Han Meng hadn't returned, it seemed that his guess was very likely to come true. Seeing Chen Ling remain silent, the Zhao family father and son exchanged glances, their faces turning pale. "Dad, don't be afraid, with me here, no matter what calamity rushes over, I'll take it down." Zhao Yi puffed out his bandaged chest and declared confidently. Uncle Zhao was furious. "Take down what? Are you trying to die? What did you promise me tonight?" Zhao Yi pouted and silently lowered his head. Just as Chen Ling was about to say something, the sound of hooves came from the end of the street. An enforcer in a black and red uniform rode a fast horse, rapidly approaching. When he was close to Chen Ling, he pulled the reins and stopped steadily. "Chief Chen." The enforcer dismounted, handed the reins to Chen Ling, and spoke solemnly. "Chief Chen, Chief Shi wants you at headquarters. He's waiting for you there." Usually, only in urgent matters were enforcers allowed to ride horses on the road. It seemed the situation was indeed severe. Chen Ling nodded, lightly flipped onto the horse's back, and after a moment of hesitation, still reminded Zhao Yi and his father. The situation in 3rd District is not optimistic. If things go wrong, don't cling to this breakfast shop. If necessary, leave 3rd District early. Leave 3rd District? Uncle Zhao was stunned. Leave 3rd District? Where can we go? Chen Ling was silent for a moment, then slowly uttered 3 words. Aurora City. As soon as he finished speaking, he quickly rode away, his figure disappearing into the thick fog. Chen Ling also didn't know what awaited 3rd District next. If it was truly as he thought, and Aurora City had abandoned all 7 districts, then no matter where they ran, it would be a dead end. The only glimmer of hope was Aurora City. Chen Ling galloped through the streets, encountering many panicked crowds along the way. They gathered together, holding kerosene lamps, anxiously discussing something, as if only huddling together could give them some psychological comfort. Riding a horse was much faster than walking, and soon he arrived at the entrance of the headquarters. A large crowd had already gathered outside, discussing animatedly. 2nd District and 4th District have both fallen. I think 3rd District is only a matter of time. Yeah, the fog hasn't cleared yet, and I just feel weird about it. Did you hear? Monsters are already coming from the south. Then what do we do? Should we trust the enforcers? I feel like they should be able to solve it. Didn't Han Meng Chief just kill a calamity? Not every district has a strong person like Han Meng Chief. I don't think there's a need to panic too much. Everyone calm down first. But I just saw quite a few people leaving with their belongings. Leaving? Where did they go? It seems they followed the railway towards Aurora City? Aurora City? Are they crazy? Without entry procedures, what can they do even if they get there? Won't they just be sent back? The 7 districts may no longer be safe, but Aurora City will always be safe. It's reasonable for them to flee to Aurora City. Quote. When they saw Chen Ling arriving on horseback, they immediately swarmed him, chattering and asking about the current situation in 3rd District. Chen Ling dismounted, and before he could even push the door open, he was blocked. He frowned slightly and said coldly, "Move aside." Chen Ling's reputation in 3rd District had always been rather poor. The horrifying rumors about him were almost common knowledge. When the crowd saw Chen Ling starting to pull out his gun, they were immediately startled and obediently cleared a path. Chen Ling pushed the door open and entered the headquarters, then locked the door behind him, isolating all the noise and clamor outside. Faint moonlight, filtered through the thick fog in the glass dome, spilled into the empty hall. In the dim shadows, a figure stood calmly behind the desk. He had his back to Chen Ling, facing the wall. In the center of that high wall, A banner several tens of meters long hung high. On its dark background, two overlapping cyan six-pointed stars shone like dazzling stars in the Arctic night sky. Open black lens bracket audience expectation +3 close black lens bracket. A line of characters suddenly appeared on the reflection on the ground. And Chen Ling's brows immediately furrowed. "You're here." Shi Renji turned around, holding a wine glass in his left hand. His cheeks flushed unnaturally. Chen Ling stood at the doorway, his gaze at Shi Renji filled with confusion. He keenly sensed something was amiss when he saw the audience expectation increase. But he still stepped towards the desk. "It's chaotic outside," Chen Ling said. "Why aren't you maintaining order? Why are you drinking here?" Shi Renji shook his head. "It's meaningless now." "Why?" "Aurora City has abandoned us." Upon hearing this, Chen Ling's frown deepened. "How do you know? Did Aurora City send a message?" "No, but 2nd District and 4th District have already fallen. And they still haven't made a move. Even Mong Jie hasn't returned. What else could this be if not abandoning us?" Shi Renji smiled bitterly. He bent down, picked up a bottle of white wine from the floor, and poured it into his glass again. The fragrant wine flowed into the glass, and Shi Renji's eyes became somewhat hazy. He slammed the wine bottle heavily onto the table, picked up the glass with his other hand, and tilted his head back, downing it in one gulp. Chen Ling did not respond. He simply watched Shi Renji in silence, lost in thought. Shi Renji's Adam's apple bobbed. The spiciness made his face red and contorted. He took a deep breath and slowly said, "Everyone will die, including us." Chapter 134 If he could live. So? What, so? Shi Renji frowned, speaking in a low voice. "Mong Jie isn't here. If any disaster from the 2nd District or 4th District comes, we'll all die, let alone the Grey Realm convergence points that haven't fully opened yet. The 3rd District is finished. These 40,000 people are finished. We are also finished. Maintaining order? Patrolling the streets? Calming the populace? What's the point of doing any of this?" Clang! Shi Renji slammed the wine glass heavily on the table, breathing roughly, his bloodshot eyes meeting Chen Ling's, like a lion about to collapse from drunkenness. "Chen Ling, are you afraid of death?" Chen Ling paused for a moment. "Actually, not that afraid." "Good." Shi Renji took out a second wine glass from the drawer, poured white wine, filling both his and Chen Ling's glasses to the brim, and pushed it towards Chen Ling. "After you finish this glass of wine, let's go south together to stop that disaster from the 4th District. Even if we die, we must die on the battlefield." Chen Ling lowered his head to look at the white wine in front of him. His eyes slightly narrowed. "You called me here just to drink with you, and then go die together?" "Exactly." Shi Renji slowly raised the wine glass in front of him, holding it in midair, waiting for Chen Ling's response. "Are you willing to go with me on this journey?" Chen Ling glanced at him, then took the wine glass with one hand, gently clinked it against the glass in Shi Renji's hand. "Okay, I'll go with you." With that, he drained the wine in his glass. Seeing this, a complex look flashed in Shi Renji's eyes, and then he likewise drained the wine in his own glass. The burning liquor went down, almost scorching Shi Renji's chest. He grimly put down the wine glass, only to find that Chen Ling, sitting at the desk, had already begun to sway uncontrollably. His eyes glazed over. "Brother Chen Ling, your alcohol tolerance seems to be lacking?" Shi Renji slowly spoke. Thud. Chen Ling's eyes completely closed, and he slumped limply into the chair behind him, falling unconscious. Seeing this scene, there was no surprise on Shi Renji's face. He put the wine glass back on the table, his expression incredibly complex. "Chen Ling, you know, I'm actually really jealous of you and Mong Jie." Shi Renji spoke to himself. "You possess innate talent. In front of you, Aurora City doesn't seem so high and mighty. You can trample it underfoot at will for the sake of your so-called spirit. And I am a mediocre person who, no matter how hard I try, cannot touch that city wall. I can accept my mediocrity. Be a good enforcement officer. Handle relations with the populace well. Not be greedy, not be arrogant, but no matter how much I pretend to be Mong Jie, I can't become him. As an enforcement officer, I cannot refuse Aurora City's orders. Nor should I. I stand at a crossroads. On the left is death and mediocrity. On the right is the future and the Aurora City I've dreamed of. There's no reason for me to die here meaninglessly." Shi Renji took a deep breath, pulled out a pistol from his pregnant, aimed the black barrel at the unconscious Chen Ling in the chair, and pulled the trigger. Click. The gun chamber made a soft sound, but there were no bullets in the gun. Shi Renji slowly lowered the gun, a complex look appearing in his gaze towards the unconscious Chen Ling. I don't know why Aurora City says you are a heretic, nor do I know why they must kill you. But you have fought alongside me, risked your life for the 3rd District. After this shot, you are already dead, killed in battle on the battlefield against the disaster. I'm leaving, good luck, if you can survive the disaster's hands. As his words fell, he stepped past Chen Ling, pushed open the back door of the headquarters, and disappeared into the thick fog. In the silent hall, Chen Ling's cold eyes slowly opened. He looked at the spilled wine on the floor, then turned his gaze in the direction Shi Renji had left, falling into thought. Ever since entering the headquarters, Chen Ling had been using the secret eye to observe Shi Renji's micro-expressions in every move. He noticed that Shi Renji's hand had been trembling slightly, and combined with the sudden increase in audience expectation, Chen Ling naturally sensed something was wrong. After using a trick to fake spilling his wine, he pretended to collapse unconscious in the chair. He didn't know what Shi Renji had put in his wine, but spilling it was definitely the right move, even if he had misunderstood. He could always say he simply couldn't hold his liquor and collapsed after one sip. Only this way could he test Shi Renji's purpose. To his surprise, Shi Renji didn't kill him. What Shi Renji did was less about targeting him and more about giving himself an outcome. Of course, for Shi Renji, whether he personally killed Chen Ling or not wasn't important. Even if he didn't act, Chen Ling wouldn't survive this disaster attack, and the final outcome would be the same. Aurora City thinks I'm a heretic, and wants to kill me? Chen Ling's eyes held deep confusion. How could this be? Where did it go wrong? Chen Ling racked his brain but couldn't figure out how he had been exposed. He could only sigh and get up to leave. From what Shi Renji said just now, Aurora City had already contacted him and promised him entry into Aurora City. Things seemed to be getting more and more interesting. Chen Ling muttered to himself. Brother Jia. Not long after Shi Renji walked out the back door, Tan Ming quickly rushed over. Tan Ming smelled the alcohol on Shi Renji and paused slightly. When he looked up and saw Shi Renji's drunken face, he immediately asked, Brother Jia, did you really kill Chen Ling? Shi Renji nodded, not dwelling on the question. How are those people on the list? I've already notified them. They're going back to pack their luggage and will gather at the train station. Shi Renji's steps halted, and anger appeared in his drunken eyes. Pack luggage? At a time like this? They still want luggage? Did they even know what the situation is? I told them, but they said they worked hard to save up some belongings, and it would be a shame to bury them with the 3rd District in the Grey Realm. Especially since they'll need to live once they enter Aurora City. But I gave a strict order. Everyone must be at the station within 15 minutes. There should only be 5 or 6 minutes left now. So by the time we get there, they should already have arrived. The timing actually won't be much of an issue. Tan Ming quickly explained. Is this about time? Shi Renji glared at Tan Ming, holding back for a long time before fiercely cursing out 4 words. A bunch of idiots. Chapter 135, 3rd District Turmoil. Money. Banknotes. Guns. Bring the guns too. Gold. Where's my gold? Left Tong rushed into his house, frantically pulling open all the drawers and cabinets, stuffing handfuls of silver and gold coins into his pockets. Realizing they were quickly full, he hurriedly pulled out a cloth from under the bed and shoved all his valuables into it. As he stuffed, he glanced at the time on the table, his breathing growing heavier. Urgency, excitement, fear, anticipation, all these emotions intertwined, making him seem like he was on drugs, his hands trembling slightly. He was originally just an ordinary enforcer. 2 years ago, he had gained the qualification to enter the Bingdao Ancient Treasury. But he gained nothing. He merely curried favor with a few young masters from Aurora City. After returning to the 3rd District, he had been following Guo Nan, running rampant and using his authority to amass wealth. He didn't feel it was excessive, because most enforcers did the same. A few days ago, he and Guo Nan offended the newly appointed enforcement officer Chen Ling. Not long after, Chen Ling found an excuse to kill Guo Nan. This left Tong living in anxiety and fear every day. He didn't know if Chen Ling would kill him too. But he was certain that his career as an enforcer had come to an end. Just as he thought everything would fall into an abyss, Tan Ming suddenly told him that the 3rd district was going to be gone. And he had secured a spot to enter Aurora City. Left Tong was both shocked and delighted. He knew this was his chance to change his fate. Gold. Left Tong found a few gold bars in the deepest part of the wardrobe. Instead of stuffing them all into the bundle, he carefully placed them close to his body. He quickly tied up the bundle, slung it over his shoulder, and his gaze swept across the messy room. After confirming there was nothing else of value, he pushed open the door and walked out. He would never return to this house. Leaving here, he would embrace a brighter future. Left Tong's eyes were filled with ecstasy and hope. He ran for a while on the street with the bundle on his shoulder. But the gold bars and the bundle were too heavy, and he quickly became breathless. He looked around and soon spotted a rickshaw parked in front of a certain house. Left Tong rushed to the rickshaw, found no one nearby, and directly kicked open the door. Whose rickshaw is that outside? Inside the house, a dim kerosene lamp burned silently. A freckled woman sat in front of the lamp, holding a needle and thread, weaving fabric, her eyes squinting so close to the needle that they almost touched it. Seeing Left Tong kick open the door, her face turned pale with fright. Officer Zuo? A dark-skinned man rushed out from inside the house. Seeing who it was, he immediately spoke in a panic. What are you doing? That rickshaw outside, is it yours? Yes. Quick, give me a ride. The man hesitated. He had just made a trip to the 2nd district and was so scared he nearly lost his soul. He hadn't rested much since then and was physically and mentally exhausted. Just as he was struggling with how to refuse, Left Tong had already pulled out his gun, aimed it at his wife, and said coldly, "I don't have time to waste with you. Hurry up." The man's face changed dramatically with fright. He immediately raised his hands and hurried towards the door. I'll go right now." The man didn't even have time to grab a towel. Dressed in a thin shirt, he rushed out the door and unlocked the rickshaw. Left Tong quickly sat down with his bundle and said coldly, "To the station. You only have 5 minutes? If you're not there in 5 minutes, I'll kill you." The man instantly broke out in a cold sweat. He started pulling the rickshaw at full speed, their figures rapidly moving through the thick fog. The station was not close, and reaching it in 5 minutes was almost impossible, especially with Left Tong in tow. But from Left Tong's anxious actions just now, if he didn't make it, he would likely really shoot. So, he could only muster all his strength and run for his life. Going to the station at this time, could something really be happening in the 3rd district? The man wasn't stupid. He knew what kind of people these enforcers were. Daring to pull a gun and force him to the station at such a critical moment definitely meant there was a life or death reason. Moreover, the other party was carrying such a large bundle, anyone with eyes could see he was trying to flee. The more he thought about it, the more anxious the man became. He had an elderly wife with poor eyesight at home. If there was really a train at the station that could escape the 3rd district, then he had to go back quickly and take his wife with him. As the rickshaw sped along, panicked pedestrians on the road also noticed it. They were all startled when they saw Left Tong with his luggage in the rickshaw. "I think I just saw an enforcer with luggage heading towards the station." "Really?" "It's true. It was Left Tong. He's in charge of our street. Speaking of which, I just saw another enforcer also rushing off with things. Damn it, Shi Renji is also nowhere to be seen. Are these enforcers planning to abandon us and escape to Aurora City themselves? They're going to the station, which means there must be a train there that can leave this place. Quick, let's go check it out too." Quote. Those who witnessed this scene changed their expressions and hurried towards the station. At first, there were only 4 or 5 people, but as they ran, the news spread wider and wider, and a large number of residents began to follow suit and approach the station. "Dad," Zhao Yi pushed open the door, panting, "Quick, don't pack anything, come with me to the station." "What?" Uncle Zhao, who was packing his things, preparing to walk to Aurora City, was startled. "The station? Someone saw an enforcer taking his belongings to the station. They must have news. They know there will be a train from the 3rd district to Aurora City. If we don't go now, it'll be too late." Uncle Zhao hadn't even reacted when Zhao Yi grabbed his hand and rushed out the door, running towards the station. But we don't have money for tickets. At a time like this, Who needs tickets? Zhao Yi's face was extremely serious. Dad, you're old. The road to Aurora City on foot is too dangerous. You definitely won't be able to handle it. Don't worry, no matter what, I'll get you on board. Uncle Zhao wanted to say something more, but looking at the determined young back leading him towards the station, a warmth rose in his heart. However, as they gradually approached the station, they realized their thoughts were still too naive. The station was already packed with countless people. A huge crowd of 3rd District residents squeezed near the platform, making a noisy commotion. More than 20 figures in enforcer uniforms stood on the platform, large and small bundles of belongings at their feet, their guns now pointed at the crowd, their expressions as ugly as could be. Damn it, how could this happen? Left Tong got out of the rickshaw, completely stunned by the sight before him. Chapter 136, In Silence. The train bound for Aurora City. They knew about the situation in the 2nd District and 4th District long ago. They knew the 3rd District was beyond saving, so they wanted to secretly escape to Aurora City. How could this be? How could this be? Has Aurora City abandoned us? Why is there only one train here? Don't you understand? From the very beginning, this group of enforcers never intended to take us. We are abandoned sacrifices. I don't want to die. I really don't want to die. I want to get on the train. I want to get on the train. Stop pushing. I can barely breathe. Quote. The crowd surged around the station. Exclamations, curses, and cries for help rising and falling. The scene completely chaotic. Bang! A gunshot pierced the night sky. Whoever dares to take another step forward, I'll kill them. An enforcer, carrying a huge package, pointed his gun at the sky and spoke fiercely. The enforcers on the platform were stunned. They never expected things to escalate like this. They could only rely on their guns to constantly threaten the people in front. But under the pushing of the crowd behind them, they were still constantly moving forward. Jing Zhe, what do we do now? An enforcer kept backing away, his gun-holding hand starting to tremble. If this continues, they'll really rush onto the train. The enforcer called Jing Zhe had bloodshot eyes. He looked at the surging crowd, and madness appeared in his eyes. Shoot. We are enforcers. Are we really going to shoot civilians? Even if we don't shoot, do you think they can survive? Jing Zhe roared. The Grey Realm converges. Calamity descends. They'll all die sooner or later. But if they block our way to survival, then let them die even sooner. Roar. A roar like thunder erupted from a nearby street, followed by a series of terrified screams. In the swirling mist, a blurry giant shadow could vaguely be seen moving through the district. That calamity from the 4th District has broken into the 3rd District. It's nearby. Quick, get on the train. I don't want to die. I want to go to Aurora City. I want to go to Aurora City. Quote. The fear of the descending calamity completely ignited the madness of the people. They rushed onto the platform in a swarm. At the same time, Jing Zhe and the others on the platform's pupils suddenly contracted. Bang! Another gunshot rang out, but this time, it wasn't fired into the sky. The forehead of an old woman at the very front exploded, and she fell to the ground. Soon, more people stepped over her body and rushed forward, followed by a dense volley of gunshots. Gunpowder splattered, bullets whistled. Under the muzzles of more than 20 guns, a large number of people fell to the ground like straw. Crimson blood flowed like a red carpet, spread across the desperate, cold steps. Bullets shattered the kerosene lamps people held for light, and flames spilled onto the ground, rapidly expanding as the kerosene spread. Piercing screams came from the sea of fire, igniting one figure after another. This was a one-sided massacre. In the dark night, justice was no longer just, and blood and fire replaced duty and support, becoming the only melody in despair. Dad, hold on to me. Zhao Yi and Uncle Zhao were squeezed in the crowd, frantically pushing people aside, trying to leave this place of turmoil. Ever since they saw that the area was surrounded by people, Zhao Yi and Uncle Zhao gave up on their plan to get on the train. But before they could even turn around, the surging crowd from behind directly pushed them forward. In this surging wave of people, Zhao Yi desperately tried to swim out, but no matter how hard he tried, more and more people appeared in front of him, pushing him further forward. Their madness, their fear, their despair, and those struggling hands raised high, were like the ghostly faces of beings desperately trying to cross the oil pan of hell. and the only thing Zhao Yi could do was hold onto his father's hand, refusing to let go even unto death. Zhao Yi's stubbornness and defiance were displayed to the extreme at this moment. In this endless wave, he did not despair, but forcefully pushed the crowd aside, his face contorted. And at the same time, another figure was pushing against the crowd, frantically trying to squeeze onto the platform. "Get out of the way. All of you, get out of my way." Left Tong protected his package with one hand and held a gun in the other, roaring furiously in the crowd. "I have a spot. I can enter Aurora City. Whoever blocks me, I'll kill them." As his voice fell, he aimed directly at the back of the head of the person in front of him and pulled the trigger. With a gunshot, that person's head exploded in a mist of blood, and they fell directly into the crowd. The gunshots in the crowd startled the surrounding people, but they couldn't make way even if they wanted to. As an endless stream of people continued to surge towards them, Left Tong was trapped in the middle, watching as several enforcers rushed onto the train one after another, and his eyes instantly turned red. No, he shouldn't be left behind. He couldn't be left behind. Die, all of you, die. Bang, bang, bang. Left Tong fired indiscriminately at the crowd in front of him. More and more figures fell to the ground. But even after he emptied all his magazines, he hadn't advanced much. He gritted his teeth, pulled out a short knife from his waist, and began to fight his way forward. He gradually carved a bloody path through the crowd, pushing forward with difficulty. Directly in front of him was a young man constantly pushing through the crowd, moving against the flow. Left Tong pulled the knife from the body of the person in front of him, the blade already crimson. Zhao Yi, who was approaching, saw this scene, and his pupils suddenly contracted. He wanted to avoid this madman, but it was too late. Left Tong, eyes red with bloodlust, stepped forward, the blade stabbing directly towards Zhao Yi's body. Just then, a figure squeezed out from the side, unhesitatingly throwing himself onto Left Tong's knife. Peeved. "Dad." Zhao Yi's eyes widened as he saw the figure with temples streaked with gray. Uncle Zhao spread his arms. He had made breakfast for decades, and those arms that had supported Zhao Yi's entire life were still strong and powerful. He held Left Tong in the crowd like steel, allowing the gleaming blade to sink into his body. The knife in Left Tong's hand had deeply pierced Uncle Zhao's waist, and crimson blood instantly stained his clothes. But Uncle Zhao still showed no intention of letting go. He stood like a nail in the surging crowd, unmoving, because behind him was Zhao Yi. After stabbing once, Left Tong tried to break free from Uncle Zhao's grip and continue forward. But he found that he still couldn't move an inch. He didn't know why this old man was holding him. He only knew that he was about to miss the train to Aurora City. "Old man, are you looking for death?" Left Tong gritted his teeth and roared in anger. He violently pulled out the short knife and stabbed it into Uncle Zhao's body again. In the surging, noisy crowd, Uncle Zhao held him tightly, like a silent statue. Only when the blade pierced and was pulled out each time did he let out a barely perceptible muffled grunt. Zhao Yi's eyes instantly turned red. He roared and wanted to rush forward, but Uncle Zhao pushed him back into the crowd. The surging tide of people pulled him further and further away from Uncle Zhao. His raised hand wanted to grasp that tall, silent figure, but he could only grasp at emptiness. "Let us on the train. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I want to go to Aurora City. I shouldn't die here. The seat on the train is mine. None of you can take it." Quote. One stab, one stab, one stab. In the frantically roaring crowd. Seemingly no one noticed the abnormality here. And no one noticed that, while they were going mad for their lives, a figure with temples streaked with gray silently endured 13 stabs. Why aren't you dead yet?" Left Tong roared, his face twisted, as crimson blood spread across the desperate land, and raging fires burned through the bottom line of humanity. In this chaotic purgatory where all beings struggled to survive, the old man's silence was deafening. Chapter 137 Unworthy. Damn it, Left Tong caught a glimpse of the gradually retreating crowd on the platform, almost going crazy. At the same time, Zhao Yi's face visibly paled. He saw a young figure being pushed away by the crowd in his peripheral vision, and a faint smile finally appeared on his weary face. His hands weakly released Left Tong, and he fell backward onto the ground. 13 crimson wounds covered his entire body, and gushing blood almost turned him into a bloodied man. The last bit of strength in his aged body was completely exhausted. Left Tong, panting, gripped his knife, spat on the ground, and continued to push forward. Zhao Yi lay on the ground like a corpse, trampled by the passing crowd. He watched as foot after foot passed over his head. In the unnoticed sky above, countless stars silently twinkled, and in a daze, they seemed to transform into Zhao Yi's face. "You brat!" Zhao Yi's eyes uncontrollably closed, and he finally stopped breathing. A figure, hunched over, crawled like a dog through countless legs and feet on the ground, finally pushing through the crowd and reaching Zhao Yi's side, tightly embracing him. "Dad, father." Zhao Yi's eyes turned bloodshot, almost splitting open, as he saw those feet land on Zhao Yi's body. He held Zhao Yi's body like an enraged lion, his hoarse roar sounding as if he wanted to kill. "Don't step on my dad. You bastards, don't step on my dad. Get lost." The crowd did not stop because of his roar. Zhao Yi could only use his back to protect the figure in his arms, letting legs and feet trip over his bandaged body, and blood seeped out again. Under the gunfire, a large number of corpses piled up in front of the station, and raging flames spread wildly around, blocking the advance of the surging populace. A figure in a black and red uniform stumbled out of the fire, rolling and crawling to extinguish the flames on his clothes, while hastily speaking, "Don't shoot, it's me." Seeing that it was Left Tong, the enforcers who had instinctively wanted to pull the trigger stopped their actions and frowned. "Why are you only just arriving?" Sigh. Left Tong's face was somewhat grim. He quickly threw his package into the carriage, gripped his knife, and looked at the populace behind the flames. "Are there still people who haven't arrived?" "Only Tan Ming and Chief Shi are left. They should be here soon." "That calamity seems to be coming this way. Quickly pull the lever first." "But there are also people blocking the tracks ahead." "Don't mind them, drive straight through." An enforcer quickly rushed into the driver's cabin, pulling various valves and levers. The pointers on the dashboard spun rapidly, and a roaring steam sound emanated from the front of the train. Vroom. As the transmission rod began to operate, the train slowly started with a clanking sound. Seeing this, the populace who had rushed onto the tracks all tried to climb onto the train, but they were shot one by the enforcers half exposed from the train doors. Some also tried to block the train with their bodies, but as the train front rolled over them, they were all, without exception, crushed into a pulp. The train thus brutally drove out of the station, breaking free from blood and fire, and steadily headed towards Aurora City along the tracks. Seeing this scene, the many enforcers on the train finally breathed a sigh of relief. They had escaped. "I see them, it's Chief Shi and his group." The enforcer who had been standing at the rear of the train immediately spoke upon seeing two figures sprinting in the distance. Ellipsis. A black trench coat passed through a sea of fire, and upon seeing the ground covered with corpses and bullet casings, an unprecedented fury surged into his eyes. How could this happen? Tan Ming stared blankly at the chaotic platform, his face deathly pale. "It's Chief Shi? Chief Shi, are you abandoning us too?" "Please, Chief Shi, I don't want to die yet. There's still room on the train. Can you take me with you? If I can't go, please take my daughter, okay? She's only 2.5. She won't take up much space." "Traitors. You enforcers and enforcement officers are all traitors. Where is Han Meng? Why isn't he coming to save us?" Quote. The shouts of the crowd echoed behind him. Shi Renji's fists clenched tighter and tighter. He gave no response, nor did he look back, but instead pursued the train alone along the tracks. Tan Ming dared not say another word now. He could hear Shi Renji's heavy breathing beside him. He knew that brother Jia was truly angry. He gritted his teeth and still bravely followed behind Shi Renji, chasing after the train. As the train moved away, a large number of people jumped off the platform and followed closely along the tracks. Although they couldn't get on the train, as long as they followed the tracks, they could still reach Aurora City, which was their last hope. A vast throng of figures ran in the dim light. The once bustling station suddenly became empty, leaving only a ground full of corpses and silently burning flames. On the blood-soaked ground, a bandaged figure held a bloodied old man, motionless like a sculpture. After an unknown period, a figure also wearing a black trench coat slowly walked out. He passed through the ground covered with corpses and bullet casings, and came before Zhao Yi. Zhao Yi raised his head, his eyes hollow. He saw a familiar face looking at them with a complicated expression. It seems I arrived too late. Upon hearing this, Zhao Yi's body trembled imperceptibly. He hugged the cold corpse in his arms tightly and spoke hoarsely, "It's you. You are also an enforcement officer. Why didn't you leave with them?" "Unfortunately, I was also the one abandoned," Chen Ling replied truthfully. "You're not with them?" "No." Chen Ling did not explain much, simply answering with 2 words. Zhao Yi just looked at him, his bloodshot eyes wondering what he was thinking. "Believe it or not, it's up to you," Chen Ling said calmly. "But if you are still filial, you should come with me now." "Go, where?" "Aurora City." Zhao Yi was stunned. He looked at the cold corpse in his arms. His eyes filled only with deep sorrow. I promised Zhao Yi I would take care of you. Although the 3rd district is gone now, at least I must ensure your life." Chen Ling slowly said, "You can also refuse and die here with your father. But you should know what your father truly hoped for." Zhao Yi's pupils contracted slightly. In his mind, Zhao Yi's face seemed to come alive again. In a daze, he saw him holding a stick, guarding the entrance of the breakfast shop, waiting for him to come home. He saw him almost kneeling to arrange a stable job for him. He saw him scolding him with a broom to go to the factory to demand wages. He saw his bloodshot eyes when he bandaged him. Zhao Yi certainly knew what his father hoped for, that was for him to live. Zhao Yi spoke hoarsely. "The enforcers are gone. I can't enter Aurora City." "Enforcers?" Chen Ling let out a cold laugh. His gaze fell upon the gradually departing steam train, and his calm tone sounded as if it came from the underworld. "Some scum are not worthy of entering Aurora City alive." Chapter 138, The Enraged Shi Renji. "What are you going to do?" Zhao Yi asked, looking up. "Naturally, I'm going to fulfill my duty as an enforcement officer." "Duty?" "The enforcers, led by Tan Ming and Left Tong, have wantonly taken lives, massacred indiscriminately, and plundered public property for their own use. As an enforcement officer, I have the authority to purge the 3rd district's enforcement system." Chen Ling replied unhurriedly. "Of course. After that, I will also temporarily confiscate the train. Public property cannot fall into the hands of criminals." Zhao Yi was stunned for a long while before he finally understood Chen Ling's words. "You're going to kill people and seize the train?" Chen Ling glanced at Zhao Yi but didn't answer. Zhao Yi seemed to have thought of something, and his fists clenched involuntarily. "Chen Ling, can I ask you for a favor?" "What is it?" "There's one enforcer. I want to kill him myself." In Zhao Yi's mind, the face of the man who had stabbed his father 13 times in the crowd appeared. It was a face he would never forget until his death. A chilling killing intent flickered in his eyes. "I want to avenge my father." Chen Ling looked at him. "Deliberately murdering an enforcer is a serious crime. Do you dare?" "To hell with serious crime." Zhao Yi cursed in a low voice. "If I can't even avenge my father, what's the point of me living to enter Aurora City? Anyway, I haven't been going against my father's wishes for a day or 2. At worst, after I go down, I'll just get another beating from him." Seeing the burning anger in Zhao Yi's eyes, a hint of approval flashed across Chen Ling's face. He nodded slightly. "Deliberately murdering an enforcer is indeed a serious crime. But as long as no one is left alive, who can prove you killed him?" Upon hearing the second half of the sentence, Zhao Yi was stunned. He looked at Chen Ling in surprise. His narrowed, smiling eyes like those of a poisonous, ruthless snake. Fierce flames burned around them. Chen Ling calmly turned his head and looked at the gradually disappearing train. "If you want to avenge your father, I won't stop you. The prerequisite is, you have to be able to catch up to that train." As his words fell, Chen Ling's figure transformed into an afterimage, swiftly darting along the railway. With the blood clothes and killing Rhapsody's enhancement, it wasn't difficult for Chen Ling to catch up to the steam train that had just departed the station. But this might not be the case for Zhao Yi. The latter's expression changed. He lowered his head one last time to look at Uncle Zhao's body and muttered, "Father, I will definitely avenge you. I will live well, don't worry about me." Zhao Yi had wanted to take the body with him, but if he did, he would definitely not be able to catch up to the train. Moreover, his father was most afraid of seeing him fight for his life. So if he saw him avenging himself, he probably wouldn't rest in peace below. Rather than that, it was better to leave him in his hometown. The flames spread across the ground, gradually engulfing the bloody corpse. Zhao Yi no longer lingered and ran towards the train with all his might. Open black lens bracket audience expectation +10 close black lens bracket. ... A biting cold wind howled beside the train as a black-clad figure rushed into the carriage. Xianxia, you're finally here. Left Tong's face lit up with joy when he saw this. Now that you're here, we're all... Before Left Tong could finish his sentence, the black figure darted in front of him, a hand gripping his neck tightly, lifting his entire body with immense force, and slamming him heavily against the inner wall of the carriage, producing a dull thud. Who is it? Shi Renji's eyes were filled with rage. He choked Left Tong, his gaze sweeping across the entire carriage. Who told you to shoot civilians? This roar directly scared everyone in the carriage. More than 20 enforcers huddled together, not daring to look into Shi Renji's eyes, all lowering their heads in silence. Clang, clang. The carriage was dead silent, with only the howling wind remaining. You are enforcers. Your duty is to protect the people. How dare you open fire on civilians? Shi Renji's hand had turned Left Tong's neck purple, and the latter was already gasping for breath, his eyes filled with terror. Chief Shi, we didn't want to. Jing Jie couldn't help but speak. But they were like madmen, rushing forward without regard for their lives. If they all squeezed onto the train, how would we get to Aurora City? You want to go to Aurora City. They also want to go to Aurora City. They all just want to live. Tell me, what did they do wrong? Shi Renji released Left Tong with one hand, and with the other, he instantly drew the gun from his waist, pointing it at Jing Jie, and roared in a low voice. Jing Jie was speechless. An enforcer nearby quickly spoke up. Actually, the demise of the 3rd district is inevitable. Those people will die sooner or later. We can't let them wanting to live deprive us of our chance to live. Can we? That's right, we were also acting in self-defense. We warned them, but they didn't listen. You. Shi Renji's eyes widened in fury. He stared fiercely at these people, wishing he could shoot and kill every single one of them on the spot. Jing Jie, please calm down. Tan Ming, covered in sweat, leaned into his ear and whispered, the order from Aurora City is to send them into the city. If you kill them here, how will you explain it to Aurora City? Upon hearing this, Shi Renji's pupils constricted slightly. He struggled for a long time in his eyes before slowly lowering his gun. He took a deep breath and said, when we get to Aurora City, I'll settle accounts with you. Seeing this scene, the other enforcers in the carriage finally breathed a sigh of relief. Unbeknownst to them, their backs were already soaked with cold sweat. As the train's speed gradually increased, the crowd that could barely keep up along the railway was completely left behind. This steel beast sped along with the hum of steam, leaving only the endlessly extending black tracks ahead, disappearing into the mist. For this carriage, 30 people were not crowded. The enforcers all sat down. With ample space, they looked at the passing land outside the window, their expressions barely concealing their excitement. This excitement came from the relief of escaping death and the anticipation of entering Aurora City. After a while, the oppressive atmosphere from the previous interlude had passed, and they began to whisper among themselves. I heard that people in Aurora City live in big houses, 5 or 6 stories high. Is that true? Of course it's true. There are over 3 million people in Aurora City, and the buildings are much taller than those in our 3rd district. They say there are even buildings over 10 stories high, which are especially magnificent. Over 10 stories high? Won't people get tired climbing so many stairs every day? Tired of what? They all have elevators. Elevators? What are those? They're boxes that automatically carry people up and down floors. The door opens and closes, and you're already on the 10th floor. That's so magical? What's that? I heard there are also electric lights in Aurora City. The streets are bright at night, much brighter than oil lamps. One by one, like stars. Because there aren't too many factories. They say the air in Aurora City is sweet. Quote. Everyone spoke one after another, their eyes filled with longing. Shi Renji sat alone on the last row of seats. It would be false to say he had no expectations hearing these things. But his gaze was fixed on the streets outside the window, engulfed in flames, and his mood was indescribably complex. Chapter 139. Can you stop him? Rustle, rustle. Just then, an extremely faint sound came from the very back of the train car. Shi Renji frowned and turned to look. At the back of the car, several storage compartments were stacked together. Some compartment doors were open, revealing cleaning supplies that the attendants hadn't had time to remove. But most of the compartments were still closed. The sound was coming from the bottommost storage compartment. The sound was so small that only Xianxia, who was sitting in the last row, could hear it. He stood up, walked to the storage compartment, and forcefully pulled open the bottom cabinet door. Behind the dim, narrow cabinet door, a 5 or 6-year-old girl was curled up, hiding inside, looking at him with terror. Xianxia was stunned. He didn't know where this girl came from, most likely. She had secretly hidden in the chaos before the train started. Because of her small size, she was well hidden and hadn't been discovered by anyone. But perhaps she had been curled up for too long and couldn't help but move. And he still heard the sound. The girl's face was deathly pale. She was like a wounded dove, desperately shrinking further into the compartment. Her eyes filled with fear and despair as she looked at Xianxia. "Chief Shi, what are you doing?" An enforcer, catching a glimpse of Xianxia standing at the back of the car, asked curiously. "Nothing, just looking around." Xianxia looked at the girl in the cabinet, closed the cabinet door with his backhand, and replied calmly. The enforcer was about to say something else when the train suddenly jolted violently, and dazzling sparks flew from the tracks. As the speed rapidly decreased, everyone lost their balance and fell forward amidst the screeching brakes. "What happened?" Xianxia steadied himself and immediately asked. "Why did it suddenly break?" I didn't break." From the driver's cabin, a bewildered voice rang out. "I don't know what happened. The train malfunctioned on its own." "How could it malfunction for no reason?" Xianxia and the others immediately poked their heads out the window, wanting to see what had happened. Screech. Amidst the wildly splashing sparks, the train's speed rapidly slowed, then stopped. In the darkness torn apart by the train's headlights, the silhouette of a trench coat standing in the night was outlined. That figure just stood there on the tracks, calmly looking at the out-of-control, beast-like train roaring towards him. The strong wind lifted his coattails, and amidst the falling snowflakes and mist, his figure stood unmoving like a mountain. Open black lens bracket audience expectation +3 close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket current expectation, 63% close black lens bracket. The train's speed plummeted, slowly coming to a halt. And finally, the massive train head hovered steadily in front of him. A person? An enforcer squinted, trying to make out the person's face. "Is it a civilian trying to stop the train?" "No, that's not right, that trench coat." "Is it an enforcement officer?" "Wait, it's Chen Ling." "How is that possible? Isn't he dead?" Under the dead silent night, that figure slowly raised his face. The moment Xianxia saw that familiar face, his emotions were incredibly complex. "Good evening, everyone." Chen Ling casually played with the control lever he had replaced from the train's front, and spoke faintly. "So late, where are you rushing off to?" All the enforcers looked at Xianxia at the same time. Chen Ling was, after all, an enforcement officer, and the only one who could contend with him was Xianxia, who was also an enforcement officer. The latter was silent for a moment, then still walked out of the train car. He walked slowly forward on the snow-covered wasteland. "The dosage I prepared for you should have been enough to make you sleep until the next morning. How did you do it?" "Thank you for the hospitality, Chief Shi." Chen Ling met his gaze calmly. "Your wine tastes good. If it hadn't had anything added to it, I would have been very happy to drink a few more sips." Xianxia was slightly stunned. He looked at Chen Ling in surprise. "You didn't drink it at all?" "Impossible, I watched you drink it." Chen Ling stood there quietly, not answering. At this point, explaining these things was meaningless. "So, you heard everything I said?" "I heard it." Xianxia stopped in front of the train engine. The headlights tore through a corner of the night in front of the train, and two black trench coats stood on the tracks, silently observing each other. After an unknown amount of time, Xianxia spoke with a complex expression. "Chen Ling, you shouldn't have come." At the headquarters, it was just him and Chen Ling. He could secretly defy Aurora City's orders and let Chen Ling live. But now Chen Ling had appeared in front of everyone, forcing Xianxia to carry out the orders. If Chen Ling didn't die now, Xianxia wouldn't be able to account for it once he entered Aurora City. "Are you really planning to bring these scum into Aurora City?" Chen Ling glanced at the group of enforcers with their large bags and packages on the train behind him. "This isn't like you." Shi Renji's eyes trembled slightly. But he still said, "This is Aurora City's order." "Aurora City?" Chen Ling sneered. "Aurora City tells you what to do. And you do it? Are the people in Aurora City God?" "Chen Ling, you and Han Meng are both geniuses. You have the arrogance to look down on Aurora City." Shi Renji frowned tightly. "But for me, Aurora City's orders are above all else." Chen Ling didn't dwell on this issue, but instead spoke directly. "You defied Aurora City's orders and let me go once. This time, I won't kill you either. You can leave. I only want the lives of those people behind you. And this train." Hearing this, the faces of the people on the train immediately changed. They looked at Chen Ling fearfully and hurriedly spoke. "Chief Shi, you can't kill us. He's the heretic Aurora City wants to kill. Chief Shi, we can't delay any longer. Kill him quickly." "That's right. If we delay any longer, the civilians behind us will catch up. Aurora City wants Chen Ling dead. If he doesn't die, how will we explain it when we enter Aurora City?" Quote. Noisy voices came from behind him. Shi Renji didn't hesitate much and shook his head. "They are the people Aurora City wants. If you want to kill them, I cannot stand idly by." Everyone immediately relaxed. Although Chen Ling was an enforcement officer, he was only a first rank. As long as Shi Renji was determined to protect them, Chen Ling could do nothing to them. "Is that so?" Chen Ling's eyes narrowed slightly. "Then I insist on killing them. Can you stop me?" As soon as his words fell, Chen Ling's figure turned into an afterimage and disappeared from his original spot. Chen Ling's speed was too fast. Even Shi Renji didn't react immediately. By the time he caught Chen Ling's trajectory, the black trench coat had already crashed into the train car behind him. Chapter 140, Silk Thread. The people in the carriage, who were nervously observing the battlefield, only felt a blur before their eyes as a dark figure, like the god of death, appeared inside the carriage. The pupils of the enforcer at the very front constricted. Before he could react, he was struck in the forehead by a metal control lever. With terrifying force, his head exploded on the spot, and crimson and white matter splattered across half the carriage. This scene directly terrified the surrounding enforcers. They screamed in horror. Some, driven by fear, immediately jumped out the windows to escape outside the carriage, while others gritted their teeth and reached for the guns on their waists. However, before they could pull out their guns, a control lever whistled through the air, directly pinning an enforcer to the inner wall of the carriage. "Stop!" Almost simultaneously, a blur rushed in from outside the carriage. Shi Renji's body was covered in a layer of hard black, and he punched Chen Ling's chest. Chen Ling showed no intention of dodging, letting Shi Renji's punch land on his chest. He was sent flying like a cannonball, crashing into the inner wall of the carriage. The terrifying force directly penetrated his body, deforming the carriage on one side. Blood dripped from Chen Ling's mouth. Several of his ribs were clearly broken. He narrowed his eyes, looking at Shi Renji, who was close at hand, and a crimson smile slowly spread across his lips. "Your strength is too weak, Chief Shi." Shi Renji was startled. Before he could react, a huge force burst from Chen Ling's chest, instantly pushing him away. The next moment, a whistling fist smashed into his face. Boom! Shi Renji was directly sent flying by this punch, like a kite with a broken string, crashing out of the carriage. The residual force of the punch ruffled the hair of several people nearby. The power contained in this punch was more than 3 times that of Shi Renji's earlier punch. Chen Ling moved his shoulder. His collapsed ribs healed at a visible speed. His eyes, like those of the god of death, slowly scanned the inside of the carriage. The other enforcers were dumbfounded. They had thought that enforcement officer Shi Renji, who was at the second stage, would overwhelmingly defeat Chen Ling, especially since Chen Ling was just a newcomer who had only recently returned from the Bingdao ancient treasury. But Chen Ling's casual punch shattered their illusion. The enforcers in the carriage were instantly terrified, their hair standing on end. They simultaneously raised their guns at Chen Ling. Before they could pull the trigger, the guns in their hands instantly turned into bananas. Everyone stood frozen. Before they could react to what had happened, the dark figure flickered among them. The cold gleam of a dagger lightly drew an arc, and 6 heads simultaneously flew high into the air. Their eyes were wide, filled with terror and astonishment. Amidst a dizzying spin, they saw their blood gradually staining the black trench coat, as if their lives were contributing to the crimson color, dyeing the man's clothes. Chen Ling held the knife with one hand. After instantly killing the 6 people closest to him, only 3 enforcers remained in the carriage, huddled in a corner, trembling and clutching their guns. Seeing Chen Ling's gaze fall upon them, the 3 enforcers were so terrified they almost suffocated. They shouted, closed their eyes, and frantically pulled the triggers. Bang 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 bang. This time, the guns in their hands did not turn into bananas. As the gunshots buzzed, they slowly opened their eyes. The black figure had, at some unknown point, moved to their side. His blood-stained coat was a shocking sight. He casually picked up a gun from the ground and slowly spoke. Your marksmanship is much worse than when you were shooting civilians. What, don't you know where to shoot? Under the terrified gaze of the 3, Chen Ling unhurriedly raised the muzzle of the gun and aimed it at his own spleen. Watch closely, I'll only demonstrate once. Bang bang bang. 3 consecutive shots rang out, and bullets pierced Chen Ling's body. Warm blood splattered on the faces of the 3, like red ink stains on a pale sheet of paper. They stared blankly at Chen Ling, who was pointing a gun at himself and self-harming. They were completely stunned. That half-smiling, crimson mouth seemed to be branded in their minds like a demon. One of them rolled his eyes and fainted on the spot from fright. Now, it's your turn. Chen Ling turned the gun, about to act, when a black silk thread instantly flew from a distance. His eyes shifted, and he retreated without hesitation. Boom! The black silk thread was like an incomparably sharp sword, directly cutting the carriage in half, missing Chen Ling's head by mere inches. As the carriage separated with a smooth cut, Chen Ling felt his center of gravity shift, and everything slid along the inclined ground. He turned to look out the window on the other side, where a black-clad figure, sword in hand, rushed like a meteor. At the tip of that steel sword, an imperceptible black silk thread swayed in the wind, exuding a cold and murderous aura. Seeing this, Chen Ling did not panic. He first fired 3 shots to kill the 3 enforcers, then fell backward, lightly leaping out of the carriage and descending towards the snowy wasteland. Chen Ling, your blood clothes is indeed troublesome, but one clean beheading will surely kill you, Shi Renji said hoarsely. And the second stage of the Tian Lang path, silk thread, can condense the sharpness of all weapons into an extremely thin line. Possessing extraordinary killing ability, it is your natural enemy. Shi Renji's face was covered in blood. If he hadn't covered his head with iron armor just now, he might have been killed by Chen Ling's punch. But even so, his mind was still buzzing. Is that so? Chen Ling said indifferently. But first, you have to be able to cut me. The black silk thread, as Shi Renji swung his sword, whipped like a long whip in the air. Gnarly cracks were cut into the ground. The figure in the crimson coat moved nimbly through them. No matter how the black line struck, it couldn't harm him in the slightest. Chen Ling's peripheral vision swept around, instantly locking onto several enforcers fleeing along the railway tracks. His figure transformed into a bloody shadow and shot out. Shi Renji's heart sank, and he gritted his teeth, chasing after him at top speed. However, his speed was still far inferior to that of the heavily injured bloodclothes. In just a few seconds, Chen Ling pulled away, which meant he could only watch as Chen Ling rushed into the crowd, slaughtering 5 people in an instant, and then turned to chase another group of enforcers. Seeing this, Shi Renji was extremely anxious. He quickly changed direction, attempting to intercept Chen Ling in the middle. The black silk thread swirling around his sword swept across the ground with his strikes, aiming for vital points with every move. But before the black silk thread could even touch Chen Ling, Shi Renji felt his hand lighten. He looked down, and his mind instantly went blank. At some unknown point, the steel sword in his hand had disappeared, replaced by a blood-stained train control lever. The next moment, a blood-clothes figure, steel sword in hand, flashed before him. Chief Shi, Chen Ling's voice was like something from the underworld. Am I giving you too much face?